Hey, what's going on, YouTubers? Famincho here, back at it once again with another video. It's been a little while since I've done a real video like this, aside from my Mob Psycho reviews, but I just decided to get the camera out, start recording. I'm going to be talking about anime live-action films and their future in Hollywood, or just in cinema in general. So, we just recently got the announcement of a Bleach live-action film at the very end of the Bleach manga. So, that's happening. That is a for sure thing. I believe it releases in 2018. They already have some of the cast members up, and it's looking kind of promising so far. I mean, obviously it's way too early to tell, but I could see it working. And I remember hearing rumors about this Bleach thing a long time ago. Plus, there's already like a stage show, like a play that's already in production. I mean, it's been, ongoing for quite some time. So I think this is a good move for the Bleach series. It's a good way to kind of carry it onward. Aside from having like really terrible spin-offs, that's what Naruto's been doing. I kind of just wish there was a live-action Naruto film, although that... Wow. Okay, anyway, and there's also a Death Note film that's already in filming. We have a Ghost in the Shell movie that is under production right now, and those are both American films that are going to be, filmed here in America, I believe, and released here in America. So, what does this mean exactly? Like, are we going to be getting a lot more anime live-action films in the States? And, I mean, it's been happening in Japan for quite some time now, or just in Asia in general. I mean, we've gotten those Rarouni Kenshin films, fantastic films, a big trilogy there. They're kind of like releasing them here in the States, and people are loving them. They have really good reviews, and everyone's talking about them, and those are fantastic. But I think that if you have those types of films, those fantastic movies, and I think that only gives Hollywood executives and just, film executives in general ideas on what they could possibly do with these other anime and manga series. So we have this Death Note film coming out. Now, I'm very much looking forward to it. I've covered it a lot on this channel. I've talked about a lot of the cast members and just the announcement of the film itself. And a lot of people were actually down on the idea itself. A lot of people, yeah, they're like, okay, I'm hesitantly optimistic, and so am I. But I still have this excitement. It's so fun to see these characters, in America, in the real world. Like, that's always exciting. It's always fun to see. So I'm really excited for the film. But, again, a lot of people are down on the idea. And I'm just curious, if this film is successful, will that show Hollywood what the fans really want? And see, that's the thing. It's not about what Death Note fans want. Because even if every single Death Note fan in the world watched this film, or at least, here in America, that wouldn't be enough. They need to attract more than just, the anime fan. They need to capture audiences from, all different types of films. So I think it's tough to say. It really is. I know, I mean, obviously this has already been proven in Hollywood. If something is successful, they're going to keep cranking it out. I mean, look at all these superhero films that are coming out. Marvel is just destroying the box office and the critics. I mean, the critics are eating these films up. They're fantastic films, and Marvel is just kicking all kinds of ass. And I love the Marvel films. Civil War is still probably my favorite movie this year, and it's just fantastic. And there's no sign of them getting lesser quality or quantity. So that's fantastic. I mean, DC aside, it's fantastic. And we've seen it happen with other films as well. I mean, with action films. I mean, just with Western films, with Tarantino's successful films like Hateful Eight, or sorry, not Hateful Eight. That was actually a huge box office bomb. Django Unchained. We saw a lot of these studios kind of cranking out more Western films. We had Jane Got a Gun. We got The Magnificent Seven, which looks pretty promising, coming out later this year. I'm really looking forward to that. And I think there's a couple other ones in the pipeline. So I don't know, like, there's trends in Hollywood. Will anime adaptations become the next trend in Hollywood? I'm hoping. It's tough. It's real tough. I think that, honestly, video game films are going to be the next big thing. I think that this Assassin's Creed movie might not be amazing at the box office, but if it just does really well with the critics and makes a decent amount of money, I think we're definitely going to see more films in this genre. I know there's already a bunch of other gaming films that are in production. There's an Uncharted film. It's been in development hell ever since the first Uncharted game released. That's probably going to end up happening eventually. I know there's, I think The Last of Us. I think The Last of Us is also in production. I remember hearing about that recently. I'm trying to recall. I just can't quite think of it straight, but I think there's a Last of Us film, and also there's a couple other ideas, and plus Nintendo might be making moves. There's a Pikachu movie happening. I mean, if you call that gaming, Pikachu kind of anime and gaming, I guess. But yeah, I mean, people follow these trends. I think that gaming is definitely going to be a big one. We haven't quite got that awesome film yet. I think that Assassin's Creed might be it. It looks pretty cool. We need a new trailer already, please. That Kanye West stuff, get that out of here, please, God. I want a new Assassin's Creed trailer. I've seen some clips here and there, but I want a full, like, good trailer that actually shows a little bit more of the story. But anyway, that's a whole nother video. Gaming movies are happening. It's going to happen. I think we're going to see a lot more of them. I know there's also a Lara Croft film, or Lara Croft film in development as well. There's a lot of video game films that are in development, and that's fantastic. I'm looking forward to each and every one of them. I hope that this becomes something successful in Hollywood. And as much as I don't want an Uncharted film, it might be cool. But anime films, on the other hand, are a bit different because you have that foreign factor. I mean, they come from Japan. A lot of these stories are meant to be told in a Japanese fashion. I mean, think of Bleach. Like, Bleach, it's about Japanese characters. You have a character named Ichigo. You have this world that's based on kind of Japanese, traditional, kind of samurai. I'm not too familiar with Bleach, by the way. I've seen a lot of the anime, like a good chunk of it, but that's just about it. I hardly remember it. I have it running on my TV right now on Netflix. Just, I don't know why, but yeah, it's very Japanese. And it wouldn't be as believable, say, here in the States. But then you have stories that are more like Cowboy Bebop that make a little bit more sense here in the West because it's based on a lot of stuff that's, you know, already established in the West, whether you're talking about that kind of space western feel. I mean, the main character's name is Spike Spiegel. He's an American, or at least we think he is. So you have that as well. And it's kind of, I think that if Hollywood and if, you know, just film executives in general find that balance between what they're translating and what they're going to be developing, I think we might have something good here. A Death Note film. Now, a lot of people hate this idea. They don't want to see an American Light Yagami. They don't want to see an African-American L, unfortunately. People just can't wrap their head around that for some reason. I swear to God, I just wish that whole cast was African-American just to piss off every single fan of this thing. I wish the whole cast was African-American so I can just watch the internet salt out. That would just be amazing. But people aren't really grabbing this idea. They don't really like the idea of Americans playing Japanese characters, even though they're not really. They're based off of those characters, and it kind of works in that way. And I think they're going to do something similar in the Ghost in the Shell as well. Someone in the comments of one of my Death Note cast videos kind of pointed that out. He was like, hey, well, she's a cyborg and her name is Motoko, so maybe she's just a cyborg named Motoko and the rest of the cast is American or of Japanese descent, or maybe it's set in Japan. Maybe they find a good way to kind of pay homage to the, you know, the original source material. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I don't know why I've been trashing on it this whole time. It's the same case. It's a little bit of hypocrisy there. I'm not going to lie, but you're right. I'm actually looking forward to that film. Actually, that director. Yeesh. Don't like the director, actually. Adam Wingard is a far better director than the guy directing the Ghost in the Shell film. But regardless, I'm still excited for that Ghost in the Shell film. I think it can work in a Western, you know, standpoint. I think it can work quite well. But others, it's tough. If you can translate that stuff and let it make sense here in the States, go for it. Dragon Ball Evolution, people keep bringing this movie up. Oh my gosh, this Death Note film's gonna be the next Dragon Ball Evolution. Dude, that film's like almost 10 years old. Let it go already. That film's a piece of trash. It was a terrible mistake. They should have never made it. Huge box office flop. One of the worst movies ever made. I mean, just horrible acting, terrible, just awful. Piece of trash of a film. But you see what happened with that film. I mean, you have this like white as bread guy named Goku. You have all these, it just doesn't make sense. Like, why? It's not really Dragon Ball, but you're calling it Dragon Ball. Doesn't really make sense. It's just stupid. And I hope that that's something that Hollywood has learned a lesson from. We don't want whitewashed versions of these characters. I don't want a dude named Ichigo Kurosaki as a white dude. I don't want a white dude playing Ichigo Kurosaki in an American film. That doesn't make sense. You gotta change that. You have to change that. You gotta change that name. You gotta change those origins on where he's from, or you have to just make him an Asian American and kind of play it off with like an English translation. But that's never gonna happen. Hollywood will never do that. At least not in the next 10 years. So you have to find that middle ground there that at least makes sense. Of course, the fans are going to trash on it as well as they have been for these Death Note film, the upcoming Death Note film and the Ghost in the Shell film, and pretty much every other anime film that's going to be announced. The fans are going to hate it regardless, but at least it makes sense to the general audience that, oh, this is a character, he's American, and his name is Ben Kurosaki or something. I don't know. That sounds absolutely terrible, but you have to find that middle ground. I think that anime films can be successful if they're handled correctly and not just made to make money. And I get it. Every film, literally every single film that's in the theater right now is only made to make money. That is the purpose of film. It is a business. I get it. But you have to at least put a little more heart and think about what you're doing before you launch out these films, because if you want a successful empire, a new genre to develop films for, then you really have to put in the time, work, and effort to make these films work. You've seen it done with superhero films. I mean, just look back in like 1999 to actually like 1996 all the way until about 2000. A bunch of trash was coming out. I mean, you had all those terrible Batman films, but then X-Men came out of nowhere and just shined so bright because it was actually taken very seriously. It was a seriously done X-Men story about human nature and human beings, and it worked so well. Then Spider-Man came out and wowed everybody, and now we have Avengers, and now we have all these Civil War. Holy crap! I never thought that we would get something like that. So hopefully, they can adapt these stories in a better way and tell it in a better way in the future. I don't really know if this Death Note film sucks. If this Ghost in the Shell film sucks, my money is on the latter. But if those two movies suck, then yeah, I can definitely see it halting a bit. But I think it's inevitable. I really do. I think it's inevitable. I think that we are definitely going to be seeing anime films. Hollywood is always looking for the next trend, always looking for the next type of film to develop for. I know there's a bunch of movies in production. You'd be surprised of how many movies that these executives are talking about. I mean, I know there's what's that? Battle Angel Alita. I know that's another one that's a good graphic novel. I know that's another one that's in production. There's a Sword Art Online TV series in production. Like there's so many. Attack on Titan. I almost guarantee you they're gonna make a live action American film of that. I almost guarantee you. As soon as that second season comes out, as soon as it starts picking up steam, you're gonna hear Legendary or something and make that announcement. It's going to happen. It's going to happen, and it might be something we just have to get used to, I guess. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Comment below. Let me know how much you hate the idea of of anime film here in America. I know it doesn't really make sense in certain circumstances, or almost all circumstances at this point, but it can work. So comment below and give me your thoughts on that. And do you even care? Do you want it to work, or do you just want to see them stay on the page and stay in anime form? Comment down below and let me know. Hit that like button if you enjoyed anything that I had to talk about today. I greatly appreciate it. Also, please be sure to subscribe for my weekly Mob Psycho 100 reviews, and also other anime related and gaming videos and everything in between. You can also follow me on Twitter at FuminShow1 for updates on this channel. It's a good way to get in touch with me as well. I post stuff regarding when I'm going to be getting videos up, other news that's been circulating around, stuff I don't really have time to make videos about, and all that jazz. Anyway, thank you very much for watching once again, and until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.